Everybody's got the same advice for you: post more, show up every day, stay consistent. And you've probably tried it, right? You posted for 3 weeks straight, maybe longer, and you got a couple likes from your aunt and a guy you haven't talked to since high school. Crickets otherwise. So here's the thing nobody tells you: posting more was never the answer. It was never going to be. The game changed underneath everybody, and most agents are still out there playing by 2019 rules, wondering why the ball won't go in. Let's fix that. Not with hype, not with some secret growth trick, just with what's actually true about how this works now and why the agents who get it are quietly filling their pipeline while everybody else shouts into the void. First, let me give you some credit. You're already doing the hard part. You're showing up. A lot of agents never even start. So this isn't a lecture about effort. It's about pointing that effort somewhere it'll actually pay. Here's what changed, and it's the whole ball game. It used to be the platforms worked like a mailman. You built up a list of followers, and when you posted, the mailman walked your post to every one of their doors. Simple. More followers, more mail delivered. So the advice made sense back then. Get more followers, post more often, more people see it. That is not how it works anymore. At this point, every major platform, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of them stopped being a mailman and became a matchmaker. And a matchmaker does not care how many followers you have. Every single time you post, it takes that one post and asks one question: who is actually going to care about this? Then it shows it to a tiny handful of people first, like a test audience, and it watches. Do they stop scrolling? Do they actually read it? Do they save it? Send it to somebody? If yes, it opens the gate and shows it to more people. If they scroll right on past, darur, and they will because the feed's drowning in junk, it quietly sets your post down and moves on. Doesn't matter that you've got 2,000 followers, they never even saw it. So what is the matchmaker actually watching for? A few things, and notice that likes, the one metric everybody's been trained to chase, isn't really one of them. Here's what moves it now. First, did you stop the scroll? The single biggest signal at this point is whether people pause on your post instead of thumbing right past. Dwell time, they call it. A 3-second stop beats a lazy like every day of the week. Secondly, did anybody save it or send it to a friend? A save means I want this later. A share into someone's DMs means you need to see this. Those two are pure gold because they're the hardest things to fake. And number 3, did that first little test group bite fast? The opening hour or so basically decides your post's whole fate. First few people engage quick, the gate swings wider. They shrug, it's over. So consistency still matters. I'm not telling you to post less, right? But posting more forgettable stuff into a matchmaker that already decided you're boring just teaches it faster that you're boring. Big difference. Think about the typical insurance post. Did you know April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month? Slapped on a stock photo of a phone in a car. You've made that post. I've made that post. It does nothing. And now you know why. Nobody stopped, so the matchmaker buried it. One sharp marketer put it about as plainly as it gets. Most insurance ads still look like insurance ads. Smiling stock photos, soft promises. And if your marketing feels safe, it's invisible. Now here's the part that should get you a little fired up, honestly. AI made it so anybody can crank out 100 posts in an afternoon. Sounds great, right? Except everybody got the same toy at the exact same time. So the feed is now wall to wall with stuff that's technically fine and completely forgettable. The same 5 tips for first-time home buyers. The same AI-written motivation quotes that read like the back of a cereal box. On some platforms, more than 1 in 5 videos served to brand new users is straight up junk now. People can feel it. They scroll past without even deciding to, and that right there is your opening. Because when one real person shows up in all that noise, it lands like a cold glass of water in the desert. A real agent telling a real story about the claim that blew up at 4:58 on a Friday. A realtor who finally says out loud that the dream starter home on that budget doesn't exist. But here's what actually does. The contrast does the work for you. This is Crystal's whole world, and she says it cleaner than I do. For years, the question was, can you make content? Everybody can make content now. A 12-year-old with a phone can make content. So the question flipped. Now it's, can you make something that only you could make? Your stories, your clients, your take on the thing everybody in your market's too polite to say out loud. That's the part the AI down the street can't copy, because it doesn't have your 20 years of watching claims go sideways. So let me be straight about the limitation, because it matters as much as the upside. AI is not going to hand you a personality. It won't. That part's on you. What it will do, and this is the entire reason we teach this stuff, is take the personality and the stories you've already got rattling around in your head and help you get them out the door without it eating your whole week. The voice has to be yours. The labor doesn't. Okay, so now the part where most people fall off. And they do fall off. I've watched it happen 100 times. Somebody gets fired up, posts hard for 2 or 3 weeks, sees basically nothing, and decides the whole thing's a scam. Sound familiar? Maybe that's been you. It was me early on. Here's the simple truth. This is a trust bank, not a slot machine. A slot machine pays out right now or it doesn't. And that's exactly what people want social media to be. Post today, phone rings tomorrow, deal closes Friday. It is not that. It never was. It's a savings account. Every real post, every genuinely helpful comment you leave, every time you show up as an actual human being instead of a billboard, you're making a tiny deposit into how much some stranger trusts you. One deposit does nothing. You literally can't see it move the needle. But you stack 90 of them over 3 months, and one Tuesday, somebody you've never spoken to in your life sends you a message that starts with, "Hey, I've been following you for a while," and that message is the payout, and it traces straight back to deposit number 4. The one you swore did nothing. Now compare that to what most agents actually do. They rent their pipeline, they buy leads from a vendor, and when that vendor slows down or jacks the price, the whole business wobbles. And the leads themselves? Roughly 1 in 3 from the aggregators is junk. Recycled, wrong number, sold to 4 other agents the same morning. You don't own any of it. An audience you built with your own voice is the opposite of that. Nobody can recycle it, raise the price on it, or shut it off. It's yours, and it compounds. That is the difference between renting and owning, and it's a very, very big one. The data backs this up, by the way. It's not just me talking. The folks who build real relationships on social outclose the people who only pitch by a wide, wide margin. And the winners aren't the loudest ones. They're the ones who didn't quit. So let me name the catch, because there's always a catch. It's slow. It is genuinely slow. And that's not a flaw. That's the entire reason it works. If this paid out instantly, everybody would do it. And you'd be right back to sounding like everybody else. The fact that most people tap out at week 3 is the best news in this whole lesson. The agent still standing at month 6 owns the room, because the other 40 quit and went back to buying garbage leads, and your first 10 posts will probably be rough. Mine sure were. That's fine. You're making deposits, not auditioning for anything. Keep showing up. You might be thinking, all right, fine, but I do not have time to become a full-time content machine on top of actually running my book. I hear you. I mean it. I run mine too. That's the exact problem we built the Compass AI interface to solve. It's your private platform running the best models out there. Claude, GPT-4, Gemini. All in one place. No juggling 5 logins. But the thing that makes it actually matter for what we're talking about, it remembers. It holds on to your voice, your clients, the stories you fed it, the way you phrase things, the jokes you make. So every single time you come back, it's a little sharper at sounding like you and a little further from sounding like a robot. Go poke at some random public chatbot instead, and you start from a blank slate every time. Which means you get generic every time. And generic is the exact slop we just spent this whole lesson learning to avoid. So that's not a small convenience thing. That's the difference between content that sounds like you and content that gets buried with everybody else's. We'll build that engine together, but not today. Here's what I need you to do before the next lesson. And I mean actually do it, not just nod along. Don't post anything new yet. Pull up your last 10 posts. Go on, I'll wait, and context and run them through the feed reality check audit I've dropped right alongside this lesson. It's quick. You're scoring 1 honest question per post. Would a real human stop scrolling for this? Or is it just noise I added to the pile? Be brutal with yourself. Most of us, me included, back when I started, score way worse than we'd like to admit. That's the whole point. You can't fix what you refuse to look at. Once you've got an honest read on where you actually stand, we build. Next course is Sound Like You, Not the Slop. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to take one real moment from your week and turn it into a week's worth of content that's unmistakably yours. using the platform so it takes minutes instead of your entire Sunday. That's where this starts getting good. See you in the next one.